Welcome students to Bifocal Electronics, Standard 11th, Paper 2. This is chapter number 1st, Semiconductors and Diodes. Students, in previous standard you have studied about the concept all metals are good conductors of electricity. Before starting this semiconductor concept, we have to revise atomic structure. As you know that all metals are good conductors of electricity. For example, copper, silver, gold, aluminum, etc. Okay students? And why they are good conductors of electricity? All of you know that. And some materials like glass, wood, paper, rubber, mica, air are bad conductors of electricity. But there is another category of material whose resistivity lies in between conductors and insulators. They are known as semiconductors. For example, silicon and germanium. Students, at absolute 0 degree Kelvin temperature, the semiconductor behaves as an insulator, and as temperature goes on increasing, the conductivity goes on increasing. Okay students, in this way we can say that the substances having conductivity lies in between insulators and conductors, we call them semiconductors. Is that clear students? As in old days only vacuum tubes were used, but nowadays semiconductors devices have replaced the vacuum tube devices because of their number of advantages. Semiconductor devices have a small size and their number of advantages. They do not require heating filament and they can be operated at low voltages. So, they consume very small amount of power. So, in recent modern electronics, vacuum tube have been completely replaced by semiconductor devices. These devices are called solid state devices. During the last few years, a large variety of semiconductor components are designed and manufactured to fulfill the large requirement of electronic industry. These components belong to active components because they show activities like rectification, amplification, switching, etc. So, in this chapter, we'll study the crystal structure of semiconductor. Okay students? Before starting this semiconductor in detail, we have to go through the revision of atomic structure. Students, as you can see, this is the atomic structure of silicon atom. An atom consists of a nucleus surrounded by orbiting electrons, and protons and neutrons are present in the nucleus. A proton has positive charge and neutron is electrically neutral. Therefore, a nucleus has positive charge and it attracts electrons. The number of electrons is same as the number of protons. As electrons have negative charge, it balances the nuclear attraction. The atom is electrically neutral. The atomic number is the number of protons. For example, if you can observe this atomic structure of silicon, silicon has an atomic number 14. So here in nucleus you can see here 14 numbers. So here 14 numbers of protons. The electrons are arranged in the orbits or shells. You can see these different colored orbits are shown in the atomic structure of silicon. The electrons are arranged in the orbits or shells. An orbit can contain a maximum of 2n raised to 2. 2n raised to 2 electrons. where this n is the number of orbit. Okay student, n number of orbit. For example, in this silicon atom, in the first orbit, if we replace this n by 1, 2 multiplied by 1 raised to 2 will get only 2. So in first orbit, only 2 electrons are present here. However, the outermost orbit of an atom cannot accommodate more than 8 electrons. Is that clear, students? So, in this silicon atom, you can see the atomic structure. In first orbit, only 2 electrons are present, while in second orbit, 8 electrons, and in last orbit, there are 4 electrons. Is that clear, students? And now let us see this germanium. In this germanium atom, if germanium has atomic number 32, okay students, in this germanium, first orbit contains 2 electrons, okay. Second orbit contains 8. As this germanium has atomic number 32, so it has 32 protons and 32 electrons. So, according to this formula, first orbit contains 2 electrons. Here it is shown by red color, only 2 electrons. Second orbit with green color, it contains 8 electrons, while this third brown colored orbit contains 18 electrons in the third orbit, and at last this blue color shows the fourth orbit of this germanium atom. It contains 4 electrons. Is that clear, students? So we can say that both this silicon and germanium atom are the semiconductors, and they contains 4 electrons in their outermost orbit, or we can say that the 4 valence electrons are present in silicon and germanium atom. Okay students? Means the electrons present in the outermost orbit of an atom are called as valence electrons. Is that clear, students? So remember, as this is silicon, it contains 2, 8, 4 respectively in their orbits, and this germanium contains 2, 8, 18 and 4 number of electrons in their respected orbits. And each electron contains the charge which is about 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Okay students? So remember this data for MCQ. Now let us see energy levels. In these energy levels, we can see the electrons cannot revolve in an orbit of any radius, but only certain orbit sizes are permitted. Any other values of radii are forbidden. Now, each orbit represents particular energy level. It takes energy to move an electron from smaller to a larger orbit, because work has to be done to overcome the attraction of nucleus. In this diagram, you can see this is the age of nucleus. This is the first energy level. It is shown here, n is equals to 1. This is second energy level, n is equal to 2, while this is third energy level, n is equal to 3. Students, means this is the age of the nucleus from this. This is the first orbit, this is second, this is third orbit. Means here we can say that the electron takes an energy to move from smaller to a larger orbit. Okay students? And electrons in the orbit close to the nucleus, means electrons in this first orbit close to the nucleus are tightly bounded to the nucleus. If we give certain amount of external energy like heat, light, etc. to an atom, the atom is said to be in the state of excitation and it lifts to a higher energy level or larger orbit. Or we can say that the higher the energy level, the greater is the energy of an electron. If external energy like heat, light or other radiation bombards of an atom, it takes the electron to higher energy level. The atom is being in the state of excitation. Is that clear, students? This state does not last long because electron soon falls back to its original energy level. As it falls back to its original energy level, it gives back the acquired energy in the form of heat, light or other radiation. Okay, students? So energy levels are important because it explains how fluorescent displays, light emitting diodes, photodiodes and phototransistors operate. Is that clear, students? Now let us see energy bands. When atoms combine to form a solid, the orbit of an electron is affected by the charge of many adjacent atoms. All electrons traveling in first orbit have different energy levels. Since there are billions of first orbit electrons, the slightly different energy level form a band. Similarly, the second band, similarly the third bands. Okay, student? So in this way there is a formation of first band, second band, third band. Or we can say that when there is a formation of crystal, several atoms combines and due to combination of that there is a collisions of electrons and due to that there is a slightly different of energy levels and there is a formation of band energy or energy bands of energy. Okay, students? So this is a first energy band, this is second energy bands. As there are billions number of first orbit electrons, the slightly different energy levels here shown in the diagram. Okay, students? For example, in silicon there are 2, 8, 4 electrons in first, second and third orbit respectively. Here you can see the first 3 bands are shaded with black color. Why these first 3 bands are shaded here with black color? Because here they are indicating that they are saturated bands or they indicate that they are filled. Okay, students? So electrons in these bands cannot move easily because there are no empty orbits. Beyond the valence band, beyond this valence band, there is a conduction band. And as the name is here, valence band is given. This valence band consists of the band of energy. This band of energy is possessed by the valence electrons, means the electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom, means the electrons which are present in the silicon's third orbit. Okay, students? So this is a valence band or the name is here given here, third band. Okay? So this is a valence band. And why this conduction band is shown here empty? Here, as this is the band of conduction electrons. Why the name is here given conduction band? Because here when external energy is applied or as the temperature goes on increasing, valence electron transfer from valence band to the conduction band, or if valence electron is lifted into the conduction band, it becomes free electrons and it can move from one atom to the next atom and it provides conduction. And as this valence electron lifted into the conduction band, it becomes free electrons. Is that clear, students? There is a next term you can see in the diagram. The gap or the band gap is present in between this valence band and conduction band. It is shown with the letter Eg, and this is called as a forbidden energy gap. I repeat again, the gap which is present in between the valence band and the conduction band is called as a forbidden energy gap, and this gap is shown with the letter Eg. For silicon, this is 1.2 electron volt, and for germanium it is 0.72 electron volt. As this is in electron volt, we can write here 1 electron volt is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 joules. Student, remember this equivalent values. Okay. So in this way, I repeat again. This is a valence band. This valence band consists of valence electrons, while the band beyond this valence band is called as a conduction band, and this conduction band consists of free electrons. There is a basic difference between valence electrons and free electrons is valence electrons are the electrons present in the outermost orbit of an atom, while free electrons are the electrons which lifts from valence band to the conduction bands when temperature goes on increasing or external energy is applied. Valence electron transferred from valence band to the conduction band because they becomes free electrons and they are responsible for conduction of current. Okay, students? Now let us see the basic difference between insulators, conductors and semiconductors with the help of the energy band diagram. Students, you can see these are the three diagrams showing the energy band diagram of conductor, semiconductor and insulator respectively. The conductivity of material depends on atomic structure and energy gap between valence band and the conduction band. In another way, we can say that it depends on number of free electrons available for carrying the current. And you know that free electrons are the electrons which are responsible for current conduction and present in conduction band. Okay, students? Now let us see the difference between conductors and semiconductors and insulator with the help of this energy band diagram. First of all these three diagrams consist of valence band, conduction band and this forbidden energy gap represented by Eg, where valence band is the band of energy possessed by valence electron, and you know that valence electrons are present in the outermost orbit of an atom, while conduction band, it is the band of energy possessed by conduction or the free electrons, the electrons which are lifted from valence band to the conduction band by applying some energy or by increasing some temperature or by applying some external radiation. Isn't it, student? And when valence electrons are lifted from valence band to the conduction band or they transfer from valence band to the conduction band, they becomes free electrons and they are responsible for current conduction. Okay, students? Now, let us consider about the conductors. In conductors like copper, aluminium, gold, silver, etc., their atomic structure contains large number of free electrons. There is no energy gap. This forbidden energy gap is absent in conductors. Means valence band and conduction band both are overlapped on each other. As there is no forbidden energy gap, valence electrons, if the valence electron gets extra energy, it jumps into the conduction band. Actually, electrons becomes free from nuclear force when it goes into the conduction band. In this way we can say that these all the metals like copper, aluminum, gold, silver, etc. are the good conductors of electricity, and in these conductors this Eg is equal to 0 electron volt. And in these conductors, conductivity decreases with increase in temperature. They have positive temperature coefficient, and here free electrons are the charge carriers. Okay students, now let us consider about semiconductors. You can see in this diagram there is a small forbidden energy gap that is nearly equal to 1 electron volt. Means in these semiconductors it behaves as perfect insulator when temperature is absolutely 0. Means at absolute 0 temperature it acts as perfect insulator, and as temperature goes on increasing, free electrons are increasing, therefore conductivity also increasing. So as the temperature goes on increasing, semiconductor behaves as conductor. Okay students, in this way this type of behavior is called as a negative temperature coefficient. Means as temperature goes on increasing, conductivity also goes on increasing. Okay students, so we can say that conductivity of semiconductor is lies between that of conductors and insulator. Is that clear students? Now here free electrons and holes are charge carriers. For example, germanium and silicon both are the semiconductor, and due to this small energy gap, that is 1 electron volt, as temperature goes on increasing, valence electron easily transfer from valence band to the conduction band, and they become free and responsible for conduction. Therefore it is related to conductors. Okay student, therefore the name is used here semiconductors, having conductivity lies in between conductors and insulator. Is that clear students? Now let us see an insulators. Students, as you can see in these insulators, due to very large energy gap, that is greater than 6 electron volt, this conduction band is empty. Okay, or we can say that in insulators here free electrons are absent. So all the electrons of such materials are tightly bounded by their nucleus. No free electron is available for carrying the current. And here are the common examples: plastic, rubber, wood, mica, paper, glass, cotton, etc. Or we can say that these insulators are positive temperature coefficient of resistance, and here charge carriers are absent. So we can say that in insulator no electrical conductivity is available, and due to this large energy gap, such amount of energy cannot be supplied externally. Hence conduction is not possible in case of insulators. Okay students, so in this way today we have studied about the revision of atomic structure and formation of energy band diagram, energy levels and energy band diagrams with comparison of conductors, semiconductors and insulator. Okay students, in next lecture we'll see about extrinsic semiconductor and intrinsic semiconductor. Okay students, that's it for today. Thank you.